Jimmy Smith for FightPicks.com. Anyway, I joined Jiu-Jitsu again this week. Just a little personal note. So I spent today getting beaten up by Manny Suarez over here at Carlson Gracie here in Delray Beach, and it was awesome. So great team, great people. Everything hurts right now, even though I've been doing it for a long, long time. I had to take a few months off because of the move and all this stuff. So this is the first week I'm really getting back into it. So my body's adjusting, and I feel like crap. But it was a lot of fun. Great team. So little personal note there before I get started. Anyway, fightpicks.com. Once again, use the promo code Jimmy Smith, all one word, uppercase or lowercase, it doesn't matter. Had a good week last time. Worked out pretty well. Only missed one fight. Thiago Alves, maybe making a personal pick there for a guy that I generally like. Anyway, so what do we have here? UFC Fight Night, Dos Anjos versus Lee. I see some early one-sided fights with this one. It gets more competitive kind of as the card goes down, but I think we get some quickies early. Davi Ramos versus Austin Hubbard. Look, Davi Ramos can grapple. Fantastic submission ability. I loved his Kimura trap in Brazil, called that one. Really great ground skills, like world class. And I think he's just finding his role in a sense. He's finding his confidence. So, Austin Hubbard, tough fighter. I don't know if he technically has anything to keep Davi Ramos at bay. I think this is submission. I think it's in the first round for Davi Ramos. So that's my pick. Davi Ramos by submission, first round. Charles Oliveira versus Nick Lentz. Charles Oliveira is a very frustrating fighter to follow and call and everything because he's so damn talented. But he can sometimes make poor decisions that cost him in fights. There are fights where he's dominating and he does something kind of boneheaded and gives the fight away. Just inconsistent. But right now, I think he's fighting the best he has his entire career. He's not taking on a world beater, contender, top 5 guy. Nick Lentz is tough. Nick Lentz is skilled. He's one of those battle-tested warriors who's seen a lot of stuff. Not technically fantastic. And also doesn't have the punching power, I think, to kind of change the tenor of a fight that's going Charles Oliveira's way. Meaning, you're not going to get that elbow that's going to prevent him from going for a submission. You're not going to land that big punch that's going to stop his takedown. He's going to be in the mix. And Charles Oliveira, when he's in the mix and aggressive and transitioning well, dude's hard to beat. Very, very hard to beat. All right? So, once again, also, Nick Lentz does have a good submission game. Good, not great. I think Charles Oliveira's is great. The problem with that is Nick Lentz might engage him enough in these scramble positions to allow Charles Oliveira to get a submission game going. You don't want that. If he was a less versed submission artist, you might go, well, he's going to avoid it and sprawl and brawl and try and do anything to stay off the ground. I think he might fall for, Jack Hermansson against Jacare. I thought he had Jacare maybe knocked out in the first round, and he went for a guillotine, and that gave Jacare an opportunity to get back in it. And, Hermansson has good submission skills. Jacare is a world champion multiple times. So that kind of thing, where Nick Lentz might go for that crazy guillotine or that crazy submission attempt when he probably shouldn't and should maybe stick with his striking, that might get him in trouble. Meaning he might engage Charles Oliveira just enough to beat him. So, once again, I'm going Charles Oliveira. I'm going submission. I'm going first round. So, same thing. This is a momentum guy. If he gets it going, it's really going his way. Submission, and I think it'll be quick. So, that's 2 in a row where I'm predicting first round submissions. Antonio Carlos Jr. versus Ian Hainish. I called Ian Heinish's fight in Argentina. The dude is solid. 12-1. Real knockout power. Excellent wrestling. But just a beast in terms of strength. He's really just beast his way out of submissions. Not necessarily the most technical guy in the world, but strong as an ox. Great takedown, great ground and pound. And we saw in Argentina his tendency to maybe get caught a little bit and just maul his way out. And against Cesar Ferreira, I think is the guy he fought, Cesar Ferreira has a good submission game. And he just couldn't get it going, and Ian Hainish ended up winning that fight by decision, I believe. Antonio Carlos Jr., another submission guy. Another guy that I think will try and kind of out-technique Hainish, and Hainish will come forward and brawl and throw and might get in danger early, But if Hainish keeps his head on and has worked on his escapes and staying calm and patient in bad positions, I think he gets through that. And that's where his striking and his ground and pound really become a factor, is late in the fight. So I'm going KO, TKO in the third. I think Antonio Carlos Jr. maybe gets him in trouble early. Ian Hainish, though, wears him down, and gets the late stoppage. So I would go with Ian Hainish by KO, TKO in the third round. That's my pick. Aspen Ladd, Sijara Eubanks. This is one I went back and forth a lot on. Aspen Ladd already has a win over Sijara Eubanks, but I think Sijara Eubanks right now is fighting very, very well. A lot of confidence in her strikes, heavy-handed. I think she felt disrespected by a lot of UFC fans. Hey, people saying that, she got the belt, the Ultimate Fighter, and then couldn't defend it, and overlooking her, and I think she got sick of it. And I think that's really lit a fire under her. Of course, winning against Roxanne Modafferi. I think she has a little bit more to prove than Aspen Ladd. Not that Aspen Ladd can't beat her, it's technically good. I just think right now Sijara Eubanks has a little momentum, although I try not to overemphasize momentum, which is, I think, a trap a lot of odds makers fall into, is what they call the hot hand fallacy, where if something good is happening, you kind of assume it's going to keep happening. You have to take each fight on its individual merit. But I think Sijara Eubanks is right now full of confidence, and I think the chip on her shoulder she's had in the last few fights continues, especially in a rematch against someone who has beaten her. I think she's developed a little bit more as a fighter, but Aspen Ladd is excellent. The problem with this weight class, you don't see a ton of finishes. So I'm going Sijara Eubanks by decision over Aspen Ladd. Tough one. I went back and forth. This isn't a gimme at all, but I'm going Sijara Eubanks by decision. Derek Krantz versus Vicente Luque. I didn't go back and forth on this one at all. Derek Krantz, last-minute opponent change. Vicente Luque is a monster at 170 pounds. There's no other way to put it. Good counter striker. He doesn't let the moment get past him. The only issue I would have in a fight like this, which kind of the up-and-coming guy really trying to make his name, taking on a newcomer who is a late replacement, they tend to go, man, I really have to look good. And they can overextend themselves. They might come out and go, man, I really got to destroy Derek Krantz in the first round. And you make the mistake and you get clipped, because Derek Krantz is very, very heavy-handed. That is true. But Vicente Luque generally doesn't allow himself to get drawn into that kind of fight. Good counter striker, uses his range well, and composed. I mean, I've never seen the moment take him over and get him off his game plan. He's a very disciplined fighter. So everything points to Vicente Luque. It's just a matter of how. I think it's KO, TKO in the first round, because Derek Krantz comes out swinging big bombs. That gives Vicente Luque, is more of a countering guy, that opportunity. I think he lands one big, and he lands it early. I know I have a lot of early stoppages on this one, but that's how I see it going. Vicente Luque, KO, TKO in the first round. Rafael Dos Anjos versus Kevin Lee. I really like Rafael Dos Anjos as a fighter. I really like him as a person. A humble, hardworking guy. Both guys coming up from 155 pounds, where they were big on the big scale at lightweight. So they're moving up to 170, where they are small welterweights. The problem is, stylistically, Kevin Lee is exactly the kind of fighter that has given Rafael Dos Anjos problems. Big wrestler who puts physical pressure on. Dos Anjos, when he moved up from 55 to 70, at 55, he's a power puncher. He hit you with one, it could really start you. At 170, the fighters are bigger. He's having trouble knocking him off one shot, so he kind of modified his style to where he's become more of a volume guy. If you look at the Robbie Lawler fight, it was body, head, over and over, clinch, throw. He threw a lot because he didn't have the power to knock out Robbie Lawler with one shot like he did other fighters at 155 pounds. So against Kevin Lee, the problem with Dos Anjos' style is he throws a lot, but he doesn't necessarily have the footwork to avoid the pressure, to avoid the cage, to avoid the clinch. So he'll throw punches. A bigger fighter can walk through him a little bit and put him in bad position and kind of wear him down. Lean on him, take him down. And that's been his issue. Against Colby Covington, against Kamaru Usman, Kevin Lee is going to follow that same blueprint. He is. He's going to try and put him against the fence, take him down, wear him out, use his size, his strength, his wrestling ability. Kevin Lee gets hurt a lot. We saw in the Edson Barboza fight, he went stanky leg and kind of did the dance. That happens sometimes. I don't see Rafael Dos Anjos necessarily having the power at 170 to put Kevin Lee away with one shot. He's going to have to catch him in multiples, and unless his footwork has really improved, I think he's going to have the same problem he had against Colby Covington and Kamaru Usman. And Kevin Lee is, once again, a big lightweight, so I don't see Rafael dos Anjos having a big size advantage because he's been at 170 longer or anything like that. Kevin Lee's a big boy. So I'm not worried about that. I like Rafael dos Anjos a lot, but Kevin Lee just stylistically is the kind of guy that's been an issue, and you have to go with precedent in this one. So Kevin Lee, by decision. I don't think he finishes Rafael dos Anjos. Don't think he knocks him out. I think he wears on him, and gets a decision. So to recap very, very quickly, it is Davi Ramos over Austin Hubbard by submission in the first round. Charles Oliveira over Nick Lentz by submission in the first round. Ian Hainish, late stoppage over Antonio Carlos Jr., KO, TKO in the third round. Sijara Eubanks by decision over Aspen Ladd. That's a very tough fight to call. Vicente Luque over Derek Krantz. KO, TKO. It's just a matter of what round. I think Krantz comes out slinging bombs and gives him the countering opportunity early in the first round. Kevin Lee over Rafael dos Anjos by decision. So once again, go to fightpicks.com, sign up Jimmy Smith, promo code, all one word, uppercase, lowercase, it doesn't matter. Enjoy and see how you do. Later.